I don't know about you, I'm sure you are too. And January is never an easy month for, I think, anybody, that's working with kids in schools or, in state government or policy at the legislature. I mean, this is the time where they start wrapping up that treadmill speed, and I'm not sure when, at some point in time they're going to hit stop and we're going to fly right off, right? It kind of feels that way. But nonetheless, thank you for coming back for day number 2. And let me tell you, I was thoroughly impressed by the participation yesterday. With a number of people that actually showed up, even for what we thought only new people would be here for in the new director orientation in the morning. But I'm glad that we had as many people here as we did, and even in the event of the inclement weather. So thank you for your dedication to that and being a part of the group. I think that we learned quite a bit in yesterday's afternoon session about what can we do to move the needle specifically with those students in our school and identify how many and perhaps even who they are. And so for those of you that were not here yesterday to take in those afternoon sessions around performance, connect back to your grant administrator that is assigned to your institution. And depending on what the need is, we might be able to go through that maybe on a one-by-one basis with your institution, or maybe kind of reconnect on a webinar approach to redo that particular session, or even if perhaps there's a need where there are folks in your institutions that needed to hear it. So if any of you were sitting back yesterday thinking like, gosh, if I would have only brought this person here to hear this, and if that's what you were thinking, let us know, because that just tells us that there's more people that we can reach out to in order to provide that technical assistance to. And more than happy to do it. Just let us know on your evaluation form. And speaking of the evaluation form, you all have an evaluation form in your folder. I know the post-secondary institutions, we asked you to fill that out at the end of yesterday. Secondary institutions, I think as you all were exiting the room, I think we missed that opportunity. So make sure you take a look at yesterday's evaluation form and give us your feedback. We're always interested in looking at that, and we do look at those as we move forward. Just a side note here from, I guess, CNM is that they're notifying us that the elevators are going to be under service. And if the alarm should go off while I'm speaking or Dr. Jim Stone is speaking, it's not an emergency. Wait a minute. I missed that 3rd grade Common Core reading standard yesterday too. Let me go back. The alarm may go off and you don't need to evacuate. It's only a test, regardless of who's speaking. Okay. So just to point that out. Yesterday, I opened up the conversation for those of you that weren't here. Can I just get a raise of hands of how many individuals are here today that were not here yesterday? New folks. So just a couple of you. Okay. I guess for your benefit and for the benefit of just kind of recapping where we were yesterday, I presented a slide presentation to you around that CCSSO report around how do we improve and create opportunities for career technical education. And the 3 high-level themes within that particular report were keeping in mind the higher level of employer engagement, which happens to be critical in moving our CTE programs forward at secondary and post-secondary levels. That second component was program of study, an effective program leading to a credential and outcome for students that starts at a high school level and transitions through a post-secondary level, culminating in that particular value-add credential, degree, diploma, etc. Keeping that in mind. The third component was what gets measured gets valued, in creating opportunities and incentives within our accountability system, whether we're thinking about it at a secondary level, within your district, actions, policies your local board can take, or even at a post-secondary level, and certainly at a state level, about how do we incentivize the participation in career technical education and also reward the successful completion of what those desired credentials or outcomes would be. So those were the 3 thrusts of that particular report, and we used those 3 levers, if you will, to set the stage for yesterday and today's conversations. And I just want to put that back on the table so that we think about that again today and we reflect on what we learned yesterday about what do we do to advance those within our CTE systems at our local level. Keep that on your radar for today. I know today is going to be a little bit more logistical in terms of going through a quality application, but we also have a keynote speaker that for those of you that were here last year, raise your hand. Right? We thought we would have had him last year, and we had a scheduling conflict, and we missed the opportunity. So for our keynote, Dr. Jim Stone, he now knows how many people have been waiting a whole year to see him. And the pressure is on because I have sold Dr. Stone as being certainly a remarkable speaker and very interesting data and knowledge around career technical ed. And so as a result, I want to go ahead and introduce him to you all. I've known Dr. Jim Stone for probably, I guess maybe at least 16, 17 years, at least running some of the circles where he had been presenting. And I've always enjoyed going to his sessions because he has humor most people don't get, but I do. But the content and what he leaves you with is certainly powerful as you walk away and think about what you can do about it, or the fact that he brings something to realization that oftentimes we just overlook because we might be too busy, or within our own internal belief system, sometimes we think it's not possible. And when he puts those cases on the table to say, look at what the research says and look at what happened in this particular area, kind of makes you go back and be honest with yourself about what you can do with regard to a secondary transition and a post-secondary transition, and where it's been effective and how they did it. So with that, I'll be more formal in the introduction of Dr. Jim Stone, and he's the director of the National Research Center for Career Technical Education, now at the Southern Region Education Board. And Dr. Stone's research has focused on strategies that improve the capacity of CTE programs to improve the engagement, the achievement, and the transition of secondary to post-secondary CTE participants, including longitudinal studies on the effects of work-based learning and the effect of host school, CTE-based school reforms on educational outcomes of youth in high-poverty communities. Dr. Stone led the interdisciplinary team in conducting a randomized controlled trial of an innovative pedagogic and professional development strategy to integrate mathematics into high school curricula, math and CTE. A former editor of the Journal of Vocational Education Research, he has published numerous articles, books, book chapters on CTE, and prior to joining the faculty at the University of Louisville, did I say that right? Louisville.
Getting better.
Okay. University of Louisville as a distinguished university professor in the College of Education and Human Development. Dr. Stone held faculty appointments at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, the University of Minnesota, where he directed the previous National Research Center for CTE. So, Dr. Stone, welcome. We've waited for you for over a year.
Thank you, sir. Any questions? Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm Jim Stone. Just ignore that alarm. So good morning. It was more enthusiastic for Eric. I'm somewhat depressed by that thought. But. Okay, so I've got I'm a college professor by training. I'm used to talking in 3-hour increments, and I've got slightly over an hour. So I'm going to talk really fast. I got a lot of stuff to share with you. I'm originally from the East Coast where they talk fast anyway, and I've had about 3 quarts of coffee, so hang on. Here we go. By the way, I did spend some time. I'm originally from the East Coast, D.C. area, and when I moved to the upper Midwest, I wound up in a place called Minnesota, yeah, sure, you betcha. I had to take language lessons to say things like that. And then when I moved to Kentucky, I had to learn to say things like Louisville. So I consider myself bilingual. As he said, he gets most of it, but all right. So I want to talk about systems because what we really need to be thinking about as we think about all this stuff related to career and technical education is a systems approach. And I have this rotating globe for a reason that will be clear in just a moment. But first of all, how many of you all in here work directly with teachers and do meaningful things for the future of our country? Excellent. How many do less important things like, I don't know, administrator? Sorry, did I say something wrong? All right, so let's get started here. I'm assuming that we all share, no matter what our role in the education system, an interest in helping all young people and young adults move into and become a productive member of society, however you choose to think about that. And the context here, however, is we're now thinking in terms of a global economy. And so I want to share a little bit with you about current labor market dynamics, the impact of technology on the labor market. And I want to look backwards